useful academic exercise on one hand, but if you don't build in right at the start what it is becoming anyway, which is a tool that's used in EIA, then
I know exactly what you mean.
right.
Yes, we do our best to try, and we are engaged with our energy colleagues as well. So it's not in an ivory tower, but it's not always easy to get joined at government. But that's another tale.
If you have to leave, you may not see it, but there are questions where people are asking about extending this to different types of landscapes as well. So, you know, that builds into the planning side that you're talking about, because I think people see the value of it and they're thinking, I could see that this would be used in a hydro scheme. How do we go about doing it then? So it's just to make that point before we go that there's broader interest from the group that are here as well than just onshore wind.
Do you know, I've got a copy of all the questions, and that's really helpful. If there's any more specifics, you know, it's useful for when we come to discuss during the next stage of the work, which is then forest research will be joining up with Joe Barry.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, so move on to the next question. Good. Okay, so this was from Scottish and Southern Energy, or SK Enviros, from Jamie McDonald, who's not here, and the SSE person who is here doesn't want to take ownership of it. So Tom, I'd like to borrow your question again, because this is quite a long one that I've edited down. Basically, Jane was asking us, which slides off so you can see it here, about whether the model assumes that any excavated peat is lost, for instance, peat that goes into bottom pits, and that the restoration button Y, is there a Y button in the kicks in on decommissioning of the wind farm after 25 years, or implementation of a compensatory peatland restoration habitat management. And the further detail was that she's asking because she wants to know whether the model takes into account her presumption that the carbon stock is essentially retained on site and placed in borrow pits with loss through dewatering, drowning out, excavation, temporary storage and replacement processes, or to someone of a different opinion, in actual fact, can prove or quantify the carbon loss from these sort of activities.
This is just a technical question, I think. So, it's a bit hard because the screen means that it's quite small on here, so I'm not sure if you can follow it. But there is one aspect which is the improvements. It's the difference between the improvements and the restoration. We actually had discussions during the startup meeting, the first project, where we were trying to get these words right, and we started off calling things the opposite way round to the way that the wind farm developers on the steering group called things, so we just got it completely wrong. So we had to change our words, but it's just words. So we've got here improvement is the word that we've used for when you take an area of land within the lifetime of the wind farm and you improve it. Improvement not in the way that you would if you had an arable system, which would be putting fertiliser on and that sort of thing, but improvement in the sense that you try and increase the carbon sequestration and return the site to its natural state. So we've got improvement of degraded bogs, improvement of felled plantation. So this would be area that the degraded bogs, it's areas that where you block up the drains, you try and reintroduce species that should be in the degraded bog area. We make no presumption about whether it's going to work or not. That's the responsibility of the user to only say that they're doing that if they're pretty certain it does work. Improvement of felled plantation. So again, you take the drained areas, you block up the drains, you try and get the previous vegetation to return. Restoration of peat removed from borrow pits or from other areas. So you would take peat and you would fill them into the borrow pits and you would reflood the borrow pits and you would try and get, again, species to return to those areas. And removal of drainage from foundations and hard standing. So if you've drained your foundations and you decide that you want to immediately follow construction, want to start restoring that area, then you can put those areas back into the block the drains and get the thing back to normal. Remember, I said we have no presumption here that this is actually going to work. That's the user's responsibility to only state the area where it actually works. So that's the improvement. That happens as soon as you say it's going to happen. So for the removal of drains around foundations in hard standing, that's given from the depth of the drains that you put in, the water at table depth around that area, and the time to completion of backfilling and removal of any surface drains and full restoration of the hydrology. And here that's been stated as 25 years. You might be very optimistic and say, well, I think I can get that back within 5 years, so you can put that in. It's up to you. From the start, from when you say you're going to do it. So in this case, they didn't reckon they were going to manage to do anything until they decommission the site. Or perhaps they'd start that before decommissioning. But that's your choice, what you put in, you know. The other thing is
So you would have to justify why you changed that number for planning, would that be correct?
Well, if you were to put this in the results of this in the report that you were going to put out, yes, you would have to justify all the inputs that you selected. If you were doing it properly, you would go through and say, yeah, we chose 25 for this reason, cite your sources, or any measurements that have been taken to back that up. But that would be similar to all the inputs. This one is different. So this one up here was the improvements that occurred during the lifetime. This one down here is the restoration of the site after decommissioning. So where you've finished with your turbines, or you suspect you will finish with your turbines, you may not if that's what happens to occur. You say, yes, we are going to restore the site, and it's going to be a full restoration. We're confident that we've got all the processes in place which are going to mean that the site is essentially back to its original state. No presumption here that that's going to work. That's up to the user to say, to provide evidence that that's going to work. So you click on yes, and then at the end of the lifetime, your restoration is started. So that was a fairly long answer, but I think there's two aspects. She was saying, is this going to happen immediately, or does it happen after, and does it only happen if you have your restoration? And the answer is no. That happens when you say it's going to happen. That happens at the end of the lifetime of the wind farm.
Two supplementary points and questions to that. On the restoration of the site after decommissioning, is it possible to add a percentage value in?
That would be